shut up. Africa, say it louder. Say shut up. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
We stand, we fight, we fall. All we need is freedom. All we need is freedom. Free Africans free.
Be free, free from slavery. Free, be free, free from slavery. Free, free yourself from the slavery. Free, free yourself from the slavery. Free, free yourself from the slavery. Free, be free, free from slavery. Be free, free from slavery. Yeah.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, African one. If you wanna be free, the most simplest one in the world. Get yourself the better with the reggae music coming straight to you from the one of the most peaceful man. So many lying down on the streets, whatever them we are dancing at the ends. Get yourself the most free time. I preach about freedom. Preach about freedom.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Better look on the street and say, listen, youth. Stop violence, they say, listen. You have to listen and be a man. The music we are doing is not a music for fun. We are preaching, hear it loud and clear. Ain't night and day, no slipping it out. Better preach, let the people hear. Better preach, let the blind feel. The sound of freedom and love. The sound. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you tune in today. This is Concerned Citizen of South Sudan going live. It is Sunday, March 26, 2023. As we promise you that we will continue to explain and evaluate the Revitalized Peace Agreement in the resolution conflict in South Sudan. We started this last week with Sas Dengira York doing chapter 1, chapter 2, and yesterday with Ustad Abdullah Garang and Moses Adwood also doing chapter 3 and chapter 4. Tonight we're supposed to have Ustaz Wendy Marial to continue with chapter 5. Unfortunately, he's sick, and Chairman of United Citizens for Change, Ustaz Dengira York, is filling in to continue the job that we started, which is to complete chapter 5 and chapter 6 today. I welcome all of you. This is a very, very important discussion tonight. I want you to go ahead and share our live broadcast, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, and share it in Clubhouse as well, because we have audience from various platform that they will be able to tune in and watch this very important topic tonight. Urahib bikum mujaddadan, viewers, مشاهدي ومشاهدات Concerned Citizen of South Sudan في هذا اليوم. كما عودناكم دائما إننا بنأتي بكل ما وعدناكم بها اليوم نحن نستمر في شرح اتفاقية السلام المنشطة وإيفالويتنج الفصل الخامس، وهي العدالة الانتقالية والمسألة والمصالحة والتعافي. هيكون معنا ضيف عبر كلاب هاوس أستاذ وشيرمان of United Citizens for Change أستاذ دينجير أيوك. يتفضل معنا اليوم، وزي ما أنا قلت قبل إنه أستاذ وندي مريال المفروض هو يكون في ضيف هذا الحلقة، ولكن لظروف المرض هو ما يستطيع إنه يواصل. أستاذ دينجير أيوك طبعا is filling in to continue this always entirely. أستاذ القدير الجليل أستاذ دينجير أيوك will join us here في كلاب هاوس. أرحب بكم مجددا في Concerned Citizen of South Sudan، ونحن هنستمر في chapter 5 which is transitional justice and accountability, reconciliation and healing. This is so important. We want our people to understand and know exactly what in it, all the articles that are mentioned here on this Revitalized Peace Agreement. With that, I would like to welcome my guest, Ustaz الجليل القدير دينجير أيوك، فلتفضل. دينجير تسمعني؟ دينجير أيوك تسمعنا؟ أتمنى إن صوتنا يكون مسموع لدى أستاذ دينجير أيوك.
Hello.
Yes. Welcome, Ustaz Dengdi Ayok, to the program.
شكرا لك أستاذ جون كورميول، وتحية لك وتحية لجميع المتابعين في الفيديو لايف سواء كان في الفيسبوك ولا في اليوتيوب، وكذلك المستمعين عبر الأوديو في الكلاب هاوس. التحية لهم جميعا.
نعم.
ونحن سعداء لنواصل ما بدأناه من حلقات تثقيفية حول الاتفاقية المنشطة لفض النزاع في جمهورية السودان الجنوبي الحبيبة، وهذه هي الحلقة الثالثة منذ بداية النقاش يوم السبت الماضي. ولأنكم ناقشتم بالأمس الفصل الثالث والرابع، نحن لابد أنه النقاش تتواصل الليلة ولحد بكرة بمشيئة الله. نحن ما عايزين الحلقات دي تتأخر تاني، لأنه خصصنا لي 4 حلقات، يعني في كل حلقة حلقتين.
نعم.
فالليلة نحن في chapter 5 and 6، ولو بكرة زمن سمح، أنا ما أعرف زمن حيكون كيف، فلا بد يكون في chapter 7 و chapter 8 ده إن سمح زمن، لكن لو ما سمح فممكن هنعمله في الويكند. أنا بالحقيقة سعيد أكون هنا الليلة وأتحدث في chapter 5
نعم
و 6 كمواصلة وتكملة لهذه الحلقات المهمة. فهندخل في تفاصيل وهنعمل قرايات في الحتة دي ونتكلم بوضوح يعني. وداير أذكر الناس المتابعيننا إنه منهجياتنا المنهجية نحن مستخدمين في تقييم الاتفاقية دي بيستند على الآتي: 1، دراسة نصوص الاتفاقية، وبعد دراسة نصوص الاتفاقية بمعنى إنه نفهم الاتفاقية بتقول شنو نصاً.
نعم.
بعد ذلك نشوف الأطراف الموقع على هذا الاتفاق، نشوف مستوى بتاع تنفيذهم لهذه النصوص اللي هم وقعوا عليها.
نعم.
يعني مستوى التنفيذ عند الأطراف دي 1، دي 2. ثالثاً بنربط النصوص بتاع الاتفاقية بما يقال، ما يقوله الأطراف الموقعة على هذا الاتفاق من تصريحات سياسية ومن أجواء سياسية بتكون قائمة من وقت لآخر ونربطها بهذه الاتفاقية. وحتى موقف بنقيم الاتفاقية برضو بناء على موقف كل هذه الأطراف التي وقعت على هذا الاتفاق. يعني لما يكون في خروقات،
نعم،
مين اللي بيرفع الاحتجاج؟ هل ده حركة آيو براو، ولا الناس سوا بيرفعوا احتجاج، والناس الأو بي بي بيرفعوا يعني احتجاج، ولا بس بيخلوا لي الآيو واي جي أو يجوتوا بس؟ دي يعني حاجات برضو نحن بنتكلم فوق الليلة. لكن قبل ما نخش فوقه هنعمل عرض كده سريع
نعم،
ل chapter 5. أنا أعتقد يا أستاذ جون كوري إنه chapter 5 من الاتفاقية ده chapter بيمثل قلب هذه الاتفاقية، لأنه هذا chapter أو هذا الفصل بيتكلم عن موضوع مهم جدا. بيتكلم عن موضوع اسمه transitional justice, accountability, reconciliation and healing. باللغة العربية مترجمينه إنه العدالة الانتقالية، المساءلة أو المحاسبة، والمصالحة والتعافي. دي القضية الأساسية الموجودة في chapter 5.
نعم،
وأنا وصفت إنه الشابتر ده مهم ليه؟ لأن ده شابتر متعلق بالمواطن. يعني لو نفذوا الظلم اللي هيحس بالإنصاف، والظلم اللي هيستفيد من العدالة القانونية من الشابتر ده المواطن بتاع ساوث السودان المغلوب على أمره، المواطن الذي قتل، المواطن الذي تعرض للاغتصاب، المواطن الذي حرق دياري وحجر من دياره وشرد من دياره وقتل وأصبح لاجئا في دول الجوار وأصبح نازحا في مخيمات الأمم المتحدة. يعني الشابتر ده لو نفذه المواطن البسيط هو اللي حيكون مستفيد من البنود بتاع الشابتر ده. كويس؟ فالشابتر 5 مهم جدا. كويس؟ يعني عنده جوانب إنسانية، عنده جوانب متعلقة بالعدالة، جوانب متعلقة بإنه يكون النسيج الاجتماعي يتم استعادته، إنه الناس يعملوا لهم مصالحة ويكون في تعافي يعني في المجتمع. كويس؟ ودي بيتم عن طريق حاجات كثيرة جدا.
نعم.
قبل ما نخش في تفاصيل داير أقول إنه chapter 5 ده هو الاتفاق على مبادئ بتاع العدالة الانتقالية. chapter 5 الأطراف التي وقعت على هذا الاتفاق اتفقت على حاجة يسموها principles for transitional justice أو مبادئ لتحقيق العدالة الانتقالية المتفق عليها. كويس؟ ده جزء مهم جدا. أنا داير نقرأ لو أنت عندك الاتفاق تابع معي.
أنا عندي ولو أنت داير في بعض الأحيان داير نقرأ أنا بقرأه لك.
page 58 تمام. page 58 من الاتفاقية ده أو chapter 5. كويس؟ ممكن نحن هنقول يعني قليل بالعربي قليل بالإنجليزي وهنمشي حالنا بهذه الصورة.
نعم.
الاتفاق دي بتبدأ بهاي اسمه الاتفاق على أمين الشابتر ده بهاي اسمه الاتفاق على مبادئ العدالة الانتقالية. بعد ما تقرأ المبادئ دي بتقوم تنتقل للجنة أو لمفوضية بيسموها مفوضية الحقيقة أو لجنة الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي. يعني عشان نحقق العدالة الانتقالية ده الاتفاقية أو الأطراف اللي وقعوا على الاتفاق اتفقوا على إنه يتم تكوين لجنة اسمها لجنة الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي. كويس؟
نعم.
واللجنة ده عندها المهام، عندها التفويض والمهام. بعديها بيتكلم البنود اللي بعديها بيتكلم عن الموظفين بتاعته والاجراءات بتاع التعيين حقهم. كويس. بعديها الشابتر ده بيتكلم عن حاجه اسمه المحكمه الحجينه. المحكمه الحجينه اللي بتجي، وبعد كده التحقيق في الجرائم. كويس. والحقوق بتاعت الضحايا. كويس. وبعد ذلك بيجي لحاجه اسمه criminal responsibility conviction and penalties اللي هي المسؤوليه الجنائيه. كويس. المحاكمه والعقوبات.
نعم.
ده الحاجات اللي بعد كده بتلقاهم في اهم بنود. بعد كده بيجي compensation and reparation authority اللي هي سلطة التعويض. كويس. السلطة بتاع التعويض ده جسم لابد يتم إنشاؤه برضه. use of findings, documentation and evidence. يعني لما نعمل تحقيق هيكون في استخدام بتاع الفايندينجز، النتائج بتاع التحقيق.
نعم.
كويس. والتوثيق بتاع شنو؟ بتاع الأدلة ده أثناء الإجراء بتاع التحقيق حول الجرائم التي ارتكبت في البلاد. فده يمكن أهم حاجات إن إحنا هنمر فوقه سريعة كده، نعمل فوقه عرض سريع للناس المتابعيننا، ونقوم نعمل تعليق عليه ونقارنه بالوضع الماشي في البلد يعني. فبالصورة ده أفتكر إن إحنا هنمشي بشكل كويس. Now أستاذ جانكوري if you don't mind I want you to read اللي هو article 5.1 ومنه تمشي 5.1.1.
Okay, that's one in English, right?
أقرأ بالإنجليزية.
Okay, تمام. Yes. Article 1.1.
أنت لقيته؟
Yeah, لقيته. Yes. Okay. معروف.
5.1 أول حاجة ده كعنوانه. يلا تمشي ل 5.1.
Correct. Which is we are discussing chapter 5 today on transitional justice, accountability, reconciliation, and healing. 5.1 read agreed principle for transitional justice. 5.1.1 upon establishment, the revitalized transitional of the government of national unity shall initiate litigation for establishment of the following transitional justice institution. Observe 35% women representation in these institutions. I should proceed 5.1.1.1. The Commissioner for Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing, which is abbreviated here, CTRH. 5.1.1.2, independent hybrid justice body to be known as the hybrid court for South Sudan. I think then from here I can stop, correct?
I want you to continue up to 5.1.5.
Okay.
Continue, please.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So, as I said, Article 5.1.1.2, an independent hybrid justice judicial body to be known as hybrid court for South Sudan, HCSS. Article 5.1.1.3, compensation and reparations authority, CRA. 5.1.2, the litigation referred 2 in Article 5.1.1 above shall clearly define the mandate and jurisdiction of 3 institutions, including but not limited to their establishment and funding, actors, and define process for public participation in the selection of the representative members. Article 5.1.3, following their establishment, the CTRH, HCSS, and CRA shall independently promote the common objective of facilitating truth, reconciliation, and healing, compensation, and reparation in South Sudan. Article 5.1.4, the revitalized transitional government of national unity shall fully support and facilitate the operation of the CTRH and cooperate with the HCSS, which is Hybrid Court of South Sudan. Article 5.1.5, the revitalized transitional government of national unity commit to fully cooperate and seek the assistance of African Union, the United Nations, the African Commission of the Human and People Rights to design, to implement, and to facilitate the work for agreed transitional justice mechanism provided for this agreement. I think that's all now. Something.
Yes, شكرا أستاذ جنكور. اللي أنت قريته ده بيسموه المبادئ المتفق عليها
نعم
للعدالة الانتقالية. To explain what I was saying in English, because you know there is a problem of language. When you wish to speak using one language, some people will come and say, please mix the language. And by the way, let me tell you this. This is to the viewers. You know, speaking 2 languages at the same time is not an easy thing. Because speaking itself consumes a lot of energy and a lot of thinking. So speaking 2 languages at a go is not something easy. That's why I prefer to use one language so that I keep my thoughts, or I focus, and at the same time I don't get distracted on the issue of language. That's why we always prefer to speak either Arabic, complete Arabic, or we speak English without mixing, because mixing it is not easy. Although we have the capability of doing it, but sometimes it's complicated, and it also takes much time also. Yeah, so we want to save time. I was saying earlier that our evaluation today is in 2 chapters. That is chapter 5 and chapter 6. Chapter 5 is a very, very important chapter in this agreement, because it is about the transitional justice, accountability, reconciliation, and healing. And I was saying it is very important because if this chapter is implemented in spirit and letter, or in letter and spirit, the beneficiaries of the implementation of this chapter would be the common men and women of South Sudan. Because this chapter is about achieving justice, a transitional justice for the people of South Sudan who became the victims in the aftermath, or during and in the aftermath of the outbreak of war or the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan in December 2013. Because it is these very citizens of South Sudan that have been killed. It is these same citizens of South Sudan that were rape. It is these same people of South Sudan that were displaced. It is these same people of South Sudan that were made to be what they call internally displaced people. And they are now refugees in the neighboring countries. And so this chapter is very important if it is implemented. Now, we are talking about the agreed principle for transitional justice. There are principles which the parties who signed this agreement agreed on to be the principle that shall guide what they call the transitional justice. And John Cole has read them out from 1 to 5. In number 1, it is said that upon establishment, the revitalized transitional government of national unity shall initiate legislation for the establishment of the following transitional justice institution. It means that the parties have agreed, based on this principle, to establish the following institutions. And we shall know these institutions shortly. And then they agreed that during the establishment of these institutions, they have to observe what they call the 35% women representation in those institutions which are going to be established. What are these institutions? Number 1, the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing. This is one of the institutions which is going to be established, that the parties agreed to be, to establish. This is a commission. It's a body, a legal body based on the agreement. That's number 1. Number 2, they have agreed to form or to establish what they call an independent hybrid judicial body to be known as the hybrid court for South Sudan. That's number 2. Number 3, they have also agreed to establish another body called Compensation and Reparation Authority. That's what they agreed. So, for us to achieve transitional justice, accountability, reconciliation, and healing in the Republic of South Sudan, the parties to the agreement have agreed to establish or to form these 3 institutions. The Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing, independent hybrid judicial body to be known as Hybrid Court for South Sudan, and finally Compensation and Reparation Authority. يا جماعة نحن بنتكلم عن المبادئ التي تم الاتفاق عليها لتحقيق العدالة الانتقالية في البلاد. المبادئ دي بتنص على انه في 3 اجسام او في 3 مؤسسات يجب تاسيسها. كويس؟ هنا باللغه العربيه الاتفاقيه بتقول تبادر حكومه الوحده الوطنيه الانتقاليه المنشطه للسودان الجنوبي عند تاسيس لسن تشريعي لانشاء مؤسسات العداله الانتقاليه الاتي ذكرها: مراعاة تمثيل المرأة بنسبة 35% في هذه المؤسسات. المؤسسات دي 3: 1 مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي. 2 جهاز عدلي مختلط مستقل يسمى المحكمة المختلطة للسودان الجنوبي. 3 سلطة التعويض والعودة، بالانجليزي بيسموه Compensation and Reparation Authority. انا ما اعرف ليه ترجموه كده. Reparation ده ما عودة. Reparation هو تعويض، دفع بتاع قروش، يعني قبال ناس قصاد ناس قتلوهم او ناس ماتوا. المهم انا شايف الترجمه دي كده.
Compensation. I think maybe they talk about to compensate those who are affected.
The same meaning also reparation. Reparation mean compensation also.
Yeah.
كويس. فانا بس مركز في الترجمه. المهم كده ما نركز في الترجمه. يبقى يا جماعه
الأطراف الموقعة على الاتفاق عشان ما تحقق العدالة الانتقالية في البلاد اتفقت على إنشاء هذه المؤسسات الثلاثة. The parties to the agreement or the signatories of this agreement have agreed to form these three transitional, these three legal bodies to achieve the transitional justice for the people of South Sudan. Now, لو مشيت لارticle 5.1.2 شفتها بيقول كلام مهم جدا. قال the legislation referred to in article 5.1.1 above shall clearly define the mandate,
jurisdiction,
and jurisdictions of the three institutions, including but not limited to their establishment and finding actors and define process for public participation in the selection of their respective members. This is what the agreement said, that the article which we have just read, which is 5.1.1, will define what? Will define what is the mandate of this institution, what is the jurisdiction of this institution, including but not limited to their establishment. Finding actors, define the process for public participation, and the last thing is the selection of their respective members.
So they talk about
And it
funding
is
and funding.
even here in the agreement. Funding, sorry, it is funding.
Okay, funding.
The mandate, the jurisdiction, including funding, actors, and the process of public participation in these three members would be defined or would be explained in the agreement. And it is here explained in the agreement.
Yes.
كويس. يبقى يا جماعة الحاجات دي مهمة، عشان كده هنا هنفوت طوالي لهنا، لكن قبل ما نفوت ل 5.2 أنا داير نمر سريع كده ده اسمه شنو؟ ل 5.1.3 ده بيقول following their establishment the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, Hybrid Code for South Sudan, and what they call Compensation and Reparation Authority shall independently promote the common objective of doing the following: facilitating truth, reconciliation and healing, compensation and reparation in South Sudan. These are the three things or the four things that this commission, these three bodies will promote. They would promote facilitating the truth, they would promote reconciliation and healing, and finally they would
compensate,
promote what is called compensation and reparation in South Sudan. That's what is stipulated in this article. The next article said the Revitalized Transitional Government of National Unity shall fully support and facilitate the operations of the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, and cooperate with the Hybrid Code for South Sudan. After these bodies are established, and they have to promote these objectives of facilitating the truth, reconciliation and healing, compensation and reparation in the country, then the government would support them. The government has to stand behind them and support them in their work. This is what the agreement is saying here. Now, 5.1.4. I am done with it. We go to 5.1.5. The Revitalized Transitional Government of National Unity commits to fully cooperate and seek the assistance of the African Union, the United Nations, and the African Commission on Human and People's Rights to design, to implement, and to facilitate the work of the agreed transitional justice mechanisms provided for this agreement. It means the government of South Sudan would be back up, okay? Or would be committed to full cooperation and seek the assistance of the African Union. The government would be backed up by the African Union, by the United Nations, and by the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. To do what? To design, to implement, and facilitate the work of these three institutions or these three transitional justice mechanisms that are agreed on here in this agreement. Now, when you go to the next article, you find the details of the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing. يبقى يا جماعة الاتفاقية دي بتقول شنو؟ الاتفاقية بتقول يجب أن يحدد التشريع الوارد في المادة المادة 5.1.1 أعلى بوضوح تفويض واختصاص هذه المؤسسات بما يشمل دون حصر تأسيس والتمويل والجهات الفاعلة والعمليات المحددة للمشاركة العامة في اختيار أعضائها.
نعم.
المادة 5.1.1 بتقوم بيحدد شنو؟ تفويض واختصاص بتاع المؤسسات الثلاثة دي. كويس؟ اللي هي لجنة الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي، ومحكمة مستقلة، محكمة حجينة مستقلة يسموه محكمة الحجينة للسودان الجنوبي. next thing إنه المفوضية بتاعت الحقيقة والمصالحة دي والتعافي، والمحكمة المختلط أو الحجينة لساوث السودان، والسلطة بتاعت التفويض دي أو سلطة بتاعت التعويض المؤسسات الثلاثة دي بعد تأسيسها يعني بالأهداف المشتركة دي يعني بيكونوا شغالين سوا. المادة اللي بعد بيقول إنه تدعم الحكومة، حكومة الوحدة الوطنية، يعني بيدعم العمل بتاع الثلاثة المؤسسات دي. المادة اللي بعديها بتقول إنه الحكومة بتاع الوحدة الوطنية المنشطة للسودان الجنوبي بتلتزم بالتعاون الكامل وبتطلب العودة من العون أو المساعدة من الاتحاد الأفريقي والأمم المتحدة والمفوضية الأفريقية لحقوق الإنسان والشعوب في التصميم والتنفيذ وتيسير عمل بتاعت شنو؟ عمل بتاعت الآليات الثلاثة ديل أو المؤسسات الثلاثة ديل للتحقيق العدالة الانتقالية في البلاد. يبقى ثلاثة مؤسسات دي المبادئ اللي تم الاتفاق عليها للتحقيق المسألة بتاعت العدالة الانتقالية في البلاد. طيب الثلاثة مؤسسات دي اللي عرفناها ديل هيتم التحقيق بتاع العدالة الانتقالية. طيب نشوف لجنة الحقيقة دي والمصالحة والتعافي. خلينا ننتقل مباشرة للمواد التالية. ما هنقرأ كله لكن بنعمل جامبينج لأنه تقريبا لخصنا يعني معظم أو الفكرة الرئيسية نحن لخصناه. الارتيكل 5.2 بيتكلم عن لجنة بتاعت شنو؟ الحقيقة أو مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي. كويس؟ يعني لو أنت جريد 1 يا أستاذ جونكور بيكون ريحتنا. اللي هو 5.2.1.
نقرأ بالإنجليزي ولا عربي ده؟ نحن في عربي صح؟ عربي.
أقرأ بالإنجليش.
أوكي. Give me one moment. معلش.
أنا ما سامعك.
أنت ما سامعني؟ ما سامعني؟
أي مع القراية أنا ما سامع القراية.
No أنا جاي. Give me one moment. أنا I'm transitioning from Arabic to this one.
لا أنت خليك بس بالإنجليزي، أنت خليك أقرأ بالإنجليزي بس.
أوكي أنا كنت
لا أنت عارف مشكلة بتاع اللغة ده ذاته مع الجنوبيين ده مشكلة ذاته. يعني لو فضلت تتكلم عربي بيكون في إشكال، تتكلم إنجليزي برضه في إشكال.
أوكي.
وعشان تتكلم لغتين في وقت واحد ده طاقة وده شغل تقييم.
نحن هنكون في article 5.2 now. Correct?
ايوه
5.2. Yes. 5.2 بيتكلم عن Commissioner for Truth and Reconciliation and Healing, CTRH. 5.2.1 Establishment of the Commission for Truth and Reconciliation and Healing, CTRH, which is mentioned above. Article 5.2.1.1, the revitalized transitional government of national unity shall establish the CTRH as a critical part of the peace building process in South Sudan, to spread effort to address the legacy of conflicts and promote peace, national reconciliation, and healing. Should I continue?
شكرا لك.
Okay.
أجيب هنا.
Go ahead.
Here, for those of us who are following this show, it is very clear that the agreement stipulates here that the revitalized transitional government of national unity shall establish the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, that is the CTRH. This body would be established as a critical part of the peace building in South Sudan. I want you to pay attention to the word critical, because the work of this committee is critical. Why is it critical? Because it is going to investigate the crimes which have been perpetrated and committed in South Sudan. And it would bring to book, it would bring to book whoever shall be fined or shall be found having committed or perpetrated crimes against the people of South Sudan, regardless of his position, whether he's a minister or he's a first vice president or he's a head of a state. Okay? That's why عشان كده سموه critical, because it would not spare anyone. انت لو بقيت رئيس جمهورية، لو بقيت نائب أول، لو انت بقيت وزير ولا وزير دفاع ولا قائد بتاع الجيش وانت اشتركت في جرائم ضد المواطنين، ده انت لازم طوالي يحاسبوك. عشان كده قالوا critical part، يعني this body will play a critical part of the peace building process in South Sudan to spearhead efforts to address the legacy of conflicts, promote peace, national reconciliation, and healing. This is the work of this commission. باللغة العربية هنا بيقول تمشي حكومة الوحدة الوطنية الانتقالية المنشطة للسودان الجنوبي مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة وتعافي باعتبارها جزءا من عملية بناء السلام في السودان الجنوبي، وتقود الجهود لمخاطبة إرث الصراع وتعزيز السلام والمصالحة الوطنية والتعافي. ده الشغل اللي حتقوم به ولا المفوضية بتاعت الحقيقة والمصالحة. كويس؟ لكن الترجمة العربية ما دقيقة، لأنه كلمة كريتيكال هنا هم ما ترجموا، وبالتالي الترجمة بتاعت ناس بايت نيوز بتاع لينا يعقوب دي ده ترجمة يعني ما دقيقة جدا. عشان كده نحن بنستعين.
They have a lot of errors actually. They have a lot of errors actually.
كلمة كريتيكال ما ترجموه هنا. لكن ما في مشكلة، هو لسه بيقدم غرض، بس الدقة في الترجمة ما كان تمام، شكلهم كانوا مستعجلين يعني. طيب نمشي نشوف الاختصاصات بتاع اللجنة ده شنو.
كويس اختصاصات بتاع اللجنة دي شنو أو العمل بتاع اللجنة دي، لأنه الأطراف الآن اتفقوا إنه شنو يأسسوا اللجنة دي، وهنجي نشوف هل اللجنة دي أسسوها ولا لا، لكن نتكلم عنها ونشوف اختصاصات بتاعته شنو. أقرأ 5.2.1.2.
Correct. Okay. The Commission of Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing shall be established by legislation, which shall be promulgated not later than 3 months after the formation of the Revitalized Transitional Government of National Unity. 3 months. And commence its activities not later than a month thereafter. Such legislation shall be, among others, outline mechanism and methods for enabling the Commission for Truth and Reconciliation and Healing to discharge its duty and responsibilities. 5.2.1.3, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs of the Revitalized Transitional Government of National Unity, in collaboration with other stakeholders and the civil society, shall conduct a public consultation of a period not less than 1 month prior to the establishment of Commission of Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing to inform and design of the legislation referred to in Chapter 5, Article 5.1.2. Above, such consultation shall ensure that the experiences of women, men, girls, and boys are sufficiently documented, and the finding of such consultation incorporated to the results in legislation. I think I should stop here. It's too much now.
Yes, thank you, Jonkur.
No problem.
We don't mean to read it all, but we have to read parts of
Okay.
The important parts of this. The rest, I think those who are following should go back and read their version of the agreement.
Okay.
Now, we are reading about the work of this Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing. That this commission shall be established by a legislation. There would be a bill that would be passed in the National Legislative Assembly that would let this commission be established. We shall be promulgated not later than 3 months after the formations of the Revitalized Transition. That is the time they are going to do this. And based on our finding and on our follow-up, it was not done this way. يعني ما أسسوا بعد ما أسسوا يعني بعد 3 شهور من البداية بتاعت أو من تكوين الحكومة. It was not. This commission was not established by a legislation in what the agreement described here as not later than 3 months after the formation of the Revitalized Transitional Government of National Unity. And then commence its activities or start its activities not later than a month thereafter. Such legislation shall shall among others outline mechanisms and methods for enabling this commission to carry on its duties and responsibilities. Now, another part, this commission for truth, reconciliation, and healing is to work together with the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs
in the Revitalized Government of National Unity, in collaboration with other stakeholders. Who are these stakeholders? These are the civil society that shall conduct public consultation for a period which is described in this article as not less than 1 month, prior to the establishment of this commission. To do what? To inform and to design the legislation that is referred to in this chapter, or Article 1 of this chapter. And the agreement made it very clear that such consultation shall ensure that the experiences of women, girls, and men, and boys who are sufficiently documented, and the finding of such consultation would be incorporated into what? Into the legislation that shall be passed by the National Legislative Assembly, together with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Constitutional Affairs. So this is the work of the committee. Now we go to the mandate, and I want to go over this very quickly, Brother Jonkur. 5.2.2. It says 5.2.2.1, without prejudice to the administrations of and access to justice, the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing shall inquire into all aspects of human rights violation and abuses, breaches of the rule of law, and excessive abuses of power committed against all persons in South Sudan by state, non-state actors, and or are their agents and allies. In particular, the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing shall inquire into the circumstances surrounding the aforementioned and any other connected or incidental matters, such as inquiry, shall investigate, document, and report on the course and causes of conflict, and identify or review cutoff time frames for the operations of the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, and may be determined by legislation, this agreement, or both. In that regard, the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing shall recommend process for the full enjoyment by victims of the right to remedy, including by suggesting measures for reparations and compensation. This is the mandate. This is the mandate of this commission. The commission would do a lot of things, by the way. Number one, they would inquire into all aspects of human rights violations and abuses. Number two, breaches of the rule of law and excessive abuses of power, okay, against all the people of South Sudan, whether by the state or non-state actors, because there are state actors in the conflict and there are non-state actors in the same conflict, according to this agreement. Brother Jonkur, you can bring Manon Jogaleo, you can bring him up. He's part of this panel. Bring him up. I can see him in the house or in the room.
Okay.
Because Manon is part of, is representing the government.
Actually, I don't see him
you
in the
would
room.
have to say something later on.
I don't see him in the room, actually.
Okay, let me invite him. I do see him here. Let me invite him.
For some reason, I don't know why.
I think you need to refresh your device. Maybe that is the problem. And so this is the work of this commission to investigate. They have to do the investigation. And if you go to page 60, the work of the work of this commission is spelled out there. The other thing, or let me go back to Arabic. دي أول مشكلة زاد. أنت تتكلم إنجليزي لما تنسى عربي.
It's okay.
تتكلم عربي تقوم تنسى إنجليزي.
Yeah, let's go back.
يا جماعة نحن بنتكلم عن المفوضية بتاع الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي. إنه هذه المفوضية الاتفاقية بتقول إنه يتم تأسيسها 3 شهور بعد
تشكيل
تكوين الحكومة الانتقالية المنشطة في السودان الجنوبي، يعني في بلدنا. كويس؟ وأنه المفوضية دي بيشتغل سوا مع وزارة العدل، وزارة العدل والشؤون الدستورية. كويس؟ يعني ده ممكن شرح يعني مبسط. يلا اللجنة دي عندها مهام بتاع التحقيق. كويس؟ عندها المهام بتاع التحقيق. وقبل ما يبدا مهام بتاع التحقيق بيكون في حاجه اسمه consultation هناك بالانجليزي، اللي هو مشاورات.
نعم.
يعني بيعمل مشاورات عامه. كويس؟ لا تقل عن شهر واحد قبل انشاء مفوضيه الحقيقه والمصالحه، وذلك ابلاغ تصميم التشريعات المشار اليها في الفصل الرابع. يعني في قانون او في تشريعات بتتم عشان ياسسوا به الجسم ده. ويتعين على المشاورات التاكيد على التوثيق تجارب النساء والرجال والفتيان بما يكفي، وأن تكون نتائج هذه المشاورات مصممة في التشريع الناتج. تقوم اللجنة الهالية للتعافي الوطني والسلم والمصالحة والمنتدى الوطني للسلام والمصالحة بنقل جميع ملفاتهم وسجلاتهم ووثائقهم إلى مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة ضمن 15 يوم بعد إنشائها. ده الشغل اللي حيقوم به. The next thing بيقول توصي مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي بعمليات وآليات للتمتع الكامل من قبل الضحايا بالحق في المعالجة، بما في ذلك اقتراح تدابير الإصلاح والتعويض. كويس؟ وعند تحديد هذه العمليات والآليات يجب على مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي أن تعتمد على الممارسات والعمليات والآليات التقليدية القائمة حيثما كان ذلك. ده الشغل بتاع المفوضية. كويس؟ اللي بيجي بيقوم به يعني. طيب الوظائف اللي هو بالإنجليزي اسمه هناك يعني mandate. ده المانديت كله. بعد كده نمشي لل personnel and appointment. كويس؟ هنا في الاتفاقية أستاذ جونكور لو أنت قريت 5.2.3.1 كويس؟ ده اللي بوريك البيرسونيل and appointment procedures، يعني بيعينوا الناس ديل كيف.
Give me 1 second.
تعيين الناس عشان يكونوا أعضاء في اللجنة دي.
Okay. Establish.
أقرأ واحد ده بس.
Yeah. Establish an accurate and impartial historical record of human rights violation, breaches of the rule of the law, excessive abuse of the power committed by state and non-state actors from the date of signing of this agreement.
No, that's not what I mean. Okay. We are on page 61, 5.2.3.1.
5.2.
Page 61, 5.2.3.1.
Okay, my bad.
Personnel and appointment procedures.
I got it. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. 5.2.3.1. Commissioners, investigators, and staff of the Commissioner, Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing shall be persons of high moral character, impartiality, and integrity. They shall be independent and performance of their functional and shall not accept or seek instructions from any third party. 5.2.3.2, the Commissioner of Truth, Reconciliation and Healing shall be composed of 7 commissioners, 4 of whom shall be South Sudanese nationals, including 2 women. The remaining 3 commissioners shall be from other African countries, whom at least 1 shall be a woman. The Commissioner of Truth and Reconciliation Healing shall be cleared by a South Sudanese national deputies, by a non-South Sudanese national. You want me to proceed? Is that the
Yeah, thank you.
You want me to continue or just stop there?
Yeah, you can stop there. This is enough.
Okay.
Now, this one is about the personnel and appointment and the procedures of appointment. That commissioners, the investigators, and staff of the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing would be person with high moral character, person with impartiality and integrity. These are the basis on which people shall be appointed to be members in this commission. And then they shall be independent in their performance, in the performance of their functions, and shall not accept or seek instruction from any third party. They would be completely independent. Independent. Yes. And so this is their work.
Yes.
This is what they are actually going to do. The other thing that we need to do is they will have 7 commissioners in this committee, and then this committee shall be composed of 7 commissioners, 4 of whom shall be South Sudanese national, including 2 women, as you said it already. And then the remaining 3 commissioners shall be from other African countries, of whom at least 1 shall be a woman. And then this commission of the Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing shall be chaired by a South Sudanese national and deputized by a non-South Sudanese national. These are the procedures, okay? And the people who would be appointed to be the members of this committee.
Now, question.
And so they would do what? They would do the consultation. They would do the investigation. They would gather the evidence, all right, of what has been done. The crimes which have been committed against the people of South Sudan. And they are given the right to use the Obasanjo report of 2013. They can use the Obasanjo report, because in that report there are a lot of findings on who gave orders so that citizens are killed.
Yep.
Right? In that report there are a lot of issues. So this is the work of the committee. Yes, Jonko, you want to say something?
I want to throw in the question, because this question actually would be lingering on South Sudanese mind, those who are watching here, those who are not even connected to what government is doing, what the party to agreement are doing. So the question that actually lingering, in their mind is, has all this thing that we talk about, establishment of hybrid court, Commission for Truth and Reconciliation, has all this thing happened? Has it happened 3 months after the formation of National Government of Unity? And if it did not happen, why? And when it is going to happen? That's the question that we like to ask, to connect with the people to know exactly where we are from here.
Yes, we are coming to this point. That is a very important question, and we are coming to it. What I wanted to do is to look into the 3 institutions that were said and how they are going to function, what are they going to do. After knowing this, then we will come to this point on whether they are done or not yet. So they would be doing investigation, and they would be independent. There would be no third party to interfere with their work according to the provisions of the agreement. And now, the agreement is talking about the rights of victims and witnesses, that the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing shall implement some measures to protect the victims and witnesses in particular. Because, you know, there are victims, those who have been victimized, and there are witnesses who witness what has been done against them. And so the victims include youth, women, and children, and men. And so there would be protection measures that shall include but shall not be limited to the conduct of in-camera or proceedings and the protections of the identity of victims or witnesses.
Yes.
When the committee is working on this matter, they would be gathering the information. There would be victims, those who were victimized, they would meet them and then listen from them and gather the information, the evidence, and also the witness, but they would not be put on camera so that they are protected, so that they are not exposed to the public. This is what the agreement also said. Now, the next thing is the establishment of the hybrid court. Yonkor, I want to go very quickly on this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, the establishment of the hybrid court, because we have now known that there would be what they call Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, and then independent hybrid court, and finally the Compensation and Reparation Authority. Now, when you come to the establishment of the hybrid court, there is a very important article that we need to read.
Okay.
And that is on page 62. 5.3.1.1.
Okay. There shall be.
You start from 5.3, then go to 5.3.1, then 5.3.1.1.
Okay. There shall be established an independent hybrid judicial court, that hybrid court for South Sudan. Hybrid court for South Sudan. The court shall be established by the African Union Commission to investigate and where necessarily prosecute individuals bearing responsibility for violation of international law and or applicable South Sudanese law committed from 15th of December 2013 through the end of the transitional period. Also, Article 5.3.1.2, the terms establishing the hybrid court for South Sudan shall conform to the term of this agreement, and the African Union shall provide a broad guidelines relating to including the location of the hybrid court for South Sudan, its infrastructures, funding mechanism, enforcement mechanism, and applicable jurisdictions, and compensation of the judges, privileges, and immunities of court personnel or any other related matters. Full stop there.
Thank you very much. This one is talking about the establishment of the hybrid court for South Sudan. And it is agreed upon by the parties that there shall be established an independent hybrid judicial court called the Hybrid Code for South Sudan. This code shall be established by the African Union Commission. To do what? To investigate and, where necessary, prosecute. It will investigate all the crimes that have been committed in the country and then prosecute. Prosecute here means to convict, to take those who have committed the crime to the court of law, to be prosecuted or convicted. Where necessary, prosecute individual bearing responsibility for violations of international law and or applicable South Sudanese law. Those people would be prosecuted for breaking two laws, the international laws and the applicable laws of South Sudan. Committed from 15 December 2013 through the end of the transitional period. This is a very serious matter, Brother Jonko.
It is.
And the viewers.
It is.
It's a very serious matter. And the agreement is very clear that the terms for the establishment of this hybrid code for South Sudan shall conform to the terms of this agreement.
Yes.
And also shall conform to the African Union Commission. The African Union Commission shall provide broad guidelines relating to the to including the locations of the hybrid code. Where would it be located? This would be determined by the African Union. And also its infrastructure, its source of funds, mechanisms,
judges,
funding mechanism, and the enforcement mechanism, the applicable jurisprudence, and number of compositions of judges, the number of judges in this court, privileges of these judges, and immunities of court personnel, their immunities, and other related matters, anything that is related to the court of law. Now, jurisdiction and mandate and supremacy. I am going very fast, Brother Jonko.
No problem.
Go down to 5.2.3 and then 5.3.2.1. Quickly, please.
Yes.
The type of crimes that have been committed in South Sudan, into which this court is going to investigate.
5.3.2, jurisdiction of mandate and supremacy, which is what judges are going to rule, what cases are they going to rule about. 5.3.2.1, the hybrid court of South Sudan shall have jurisdiction with respect to the following crimes. 5.3.1.3.2.1.1, genocide. Article 5.3.2.1.2, crimes against humanity. Article 5.3.2.1.3, war crimes. These are the three crimes here. And we continue 5.3.2.14, other serious crime under the international law and relevant laws of Republic of South Sudan, including gender-based crime and sexual violence. Article 5.3.2.2, the hybrid court of South Sudan shall be independent and distinct from the national judiciary in its operations and shall be carried out its own investigations. The hybrid court of South Sudan shall have primacy over any national court of Republic of South Sudan. Okay. Should I continue or just I give you a chance here?
Yes. Yeah, you stop there. I think this is enough.
Okay. Wow.
Now we are talking about the jurisdiction, the mandate, and the supremacy of this court. So the court shall have jurisdiction with respect to the following crimes. You have heard the crime. Number one, genocide. The court will have to carry out trial on crime of genocide. That's number one. Number two, crimes against humanity, war crimes. And then number 4 is other serious crimes under international law and relevant laws of the Republic of South Sudan, including what we call gender-based crime and sexual violence. For those of you who have been following the development of things in the Republic of South Sudan, there were a lot of talk in South Sudan about gender-based crimes. And when we talk about gender-based crime, we are talking about sexual violence. A number of people have been accused of having committed gender-based crimes or what is called sexual violence. This, of course, is against the international law, and it is, of course, against the relevant laws of the Republic of South Sudan. So this is the work of the committee. يا جماعة المحكمة الحجيم اللي هيتم تكوينه هيقوم يعني قبل نحن اتكلمنا عن التكوين بتاعه.
نعم.
الرئيس بتاعه هيكون ساوث سودانيز، والنائب بتاعه يعني هيكون من الدول الافريقيه، هيكون ما من ساوث سودانيز. كويس. ولازم يكون فيه نسوان، يعني نسوان يكونوا اعضاء في المحكمه ده. والجرائم اللجنه دي او المحكمه ده بيحكم فوقه هي جرائم بتاع الاباده الجماعيه رقم 1، وجرائم ضد الانسانيه، وجرائم الحرب، وجرائم اخرى خطيره ضد القانون الدولي والقوانين بتاعت ساوث سودان، بما في ذلك الجرائم ضد شنو؟ ضد النوع. وبالتحديد بيتكلم عن حاجه اسمه شنو؟ العنف الجنسي او الاغتصاب. وانا قبل كنت بقول انه في ساوث سودان كان في حديث كثير في وسائل الاعلام عن انه في انتهاكات وقعت ضد النسوان وفي اغتصابات يعني باعداد كبيره ضد النسوان، وده طبعا دي جرائم حسب القانون الدولي، وفي نفس الوقت هي جرائم حسب القوانين بتاعت ساوث سودان. فدي الجرائم اللي هيجي شنو؟ بيجي بحكم فوقه المحكمه. The rest of the article we are not going to read them, Brother Jonkor, because we want to make it short. Now, let's come back to your questions. Has this been done? ده السؤال المهم. الكلام ده عمله؟ الكلام ده ما يتعمل. وانا داير نقرا في رود ماب على فكره. رود ماب قاعد قدامي، انا هقرا جزء من الحاجات.
اوكي.
انا بقول انه اللجنه بتاعت الحقيقه والمصالحه والتعافي ما كونوا، خطوا على جنبه. المحكمه الحجين ده ما تم تكوينه. بيسموه شنو؟ اللجنه بتاع التعويض reparation ده compensation and reparation authority، السلطه بتاع التعويض دي كويس ما تم خالص. الحاجات دي كلها ما تم، وعشان انا اوريك الحاجات دي ما تم انا اقراه ذات من رود ماب عشان كلامنا يكون كلام يعني مؤسس، لانه معظم البنود ده حولوا لحاجه اسمها رود ماب. هنا في رود ماب انا بقرا هنا في chapter 7 في page 7 هم قالوا الكلام ده. chapter 5 status of implementation annex 7 item 1 to 18. The institution to be established under this chapter. الانستيتيوشن الثلاثه يا جماعه اللي قلناهم قبل: truth commission for truth reconciliation and healing، وهايبريد كود، وبعد كده شنو؟ اللجنه الثلاثه اسمه compensation and reparation authority. عشان كده الكلام ده بيقول انه the institution to be established under this chapter have impact on the democratic transformation of South Sudan, in that they will build truth, reconciliation and healing, and compensation and reparation. ده الكلام اللي قالوه هنا في road map. بيواصلوا بيقول this is what they are saying in the roadmap. The combination of this process addresses the legacy of conflict, promoting peace, national reconciliation, and healing to create a conducive environment for the return of refugees and preparation for democratic election. The status of implementation, Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing, Annex 5, Item 2 to 6. The process for its establishment commenced on January 24th, 2022. John Cole,
Yes.
we are being told in the roadmap that the process for the establishment of this Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, and Healing is supposed to start on the 24th of January in the year 2022. Now the question is, has it been done accordingly? It was not done. And this roadmap was prepared between June and July in the year 2022. Now this one has not been done. We are judging based on this document. It has not been done. إنه اللجنة بتاع المفوضية بتاع الحقيقة والمصالحة بحسب خارطة بتاع الطريق قال العملية بتاع تكوينه أو إنشاؤه ممكن هيبدأ يوم شنو؟ يوم 24 شهر 1 سنة 2022.
2023
ما تم. لا هم قالوا 2022.
2022 صح.
قاصدين 2023 لكده. مكتوب 2022 في الرود ماب. طيب خلينا نقرا الكلام الثاني ده. هم قالوا شنو؟ قال the legal framework is due to be passed by the Revitalized Transitional National Legislative Assembly by September 2022 at the latest. Once established, the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation, Healing will then implement all the 11 outstanding sub-article activities. Okay? التشريعات اللي قالوا دي عشان يأسسوا بها اللجنة دي هيجيزها البرلمان 200 هيجيزها البرلمان لحد شهر سبتمبر 2022 وبمجرد مع البرلمان تجيز التشريعات دي اللجنة دي بيتم تكوينها عشان تنفذ البنود العالقة كلها. ده بحسب الخارطة بتاع الطريق. الخارطة بتاع الطريق مشوا قدامه وقال كده the technical committee formed to engage in the process of establishing the truth. The Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing was launched on May 10, 2021. It has submitted the report on the public consultation to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. The Minister will, upon considerations of the report, direct further action. What are they saying here? They are saying the technical committee, which was formed to engage in the process of establishing this Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing, was launched on the 10th of May in the year 2021. And that it has to submit what? The report to the public consultation and to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Now, let me read the next one. The eligible members, this is a repetition of what is in the agreement. Let me not read it. Let me jump it now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Now, let me read the last article. This is what they said. They said, generally, the revitalized transitional government of national unity is only called upon to support and facilitate its operation, sub-article 5.1.4, to fully cooperate and seek assistance of the African Union, the United Nations, and the African Union Commission on Human Rights. Yet the implementation status based on the roadmaps nothing has been done. Up to now, Jonkor, and those of you who are following the implementation of the agreement, the truth or the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing has not been established. They are talking about the launching here, but it is not there on the ground. Because if it is there on the ground, who is the chairperson of this commission? Who is the deputy? Who are the members? We need to know them. It is not there. It has not started its work. So we have to be fair and honest on this.
And the question also...
The hybrid code, who is now the president of this code? Who is the deputy president of this code? Who are the members? We don't know them. The committee is not formed. There's another body called Compensation and Reparation Authority. This one is not also formed. It is not established because it is not there practically on the ground. If it is there, who is the president of that authority? Who is the deputy and who are the members? Have you seen them taking oath in front of the president and in front of the Chief Justice? We have not seen them. What we have seen is the president signing laws by the end of the year and the beginning of the year, signing 6 laws or 6 bills which were passed by the parliament. And as we talk here, these 3 institutions are not there. So let us be very honest. يا جماعة الثلاثة مؤسسات القالوا دي عشان تعمل العدالة الانتقالية ما فيش. مفوضية بتاعت الحقيقة والمصالحة والتعافي ما مكونة. لأنه لو كونوا منو يا رئيس؟ منو يا نائب الرئيس؟ منو هم الأعضاء؟ شفناهم بيأدوا القسم أمام الرئيس ورئيس القضاء ما شفناهم. المحكمة بالحجينة ما تم تكوينها، لأنه لو تم تكوينها كنا عرفنا الرئيس ومنو والنائب حقه منو والأعضاء فوقه منو، وكنا شفناهم بيأدوا القسم أمام الرئيس وأمام رئيس القضاء ويباشروا عملهم. ما فيش. كذلك سلطة بتاع التعويض والعودة دي ما في، لأنه ما عرفنا الليل الآن رئيس منو، نائب رئيس منو، الأعضاء منو. والاتفاقية بتقول يكون فوق النساء يكونوا يعني جزء من ال3 مؤسسات دي كويس، اللي بتقوم بالتحقيق كويس وتلتقي بالضحايا والشهود وبعد كده تجمل أدلة يحاكموا بها الناس كويس. ال4 جرائم، انه 4 جرائم اللي قالوا كده: الإبادة الجماعية والجرائم ضد الإنسانية وجرائم الحرب وأنواع جرائم أخرى خطيرة بما في ذلك الجرائم الجنسية أو العنف الجنسي الاغتصاب. يبقى يا جماعة الاتفاقية ما منفذة، ما فيش محكمة مختلط للآن، ما فيش لجنة أو مفوضية الحقيقة والمصالحة، ما فيش سلطة بتاعت التعويض والعودة، ما فيش. كل ده ما تم تكوينه. أنت بتقرأ عنه في الاتفاقية ما في، بتقرأ عنه في الرودماب ما في. يبقى تقييمنا based on النصوص بتاع agreement، based on النصوص بتاع خارطة الطريق، وبيس on المتابعة ذاته على الأرض. الكلام ده ما في، ما تم. يبقى التنفيذ بتاع chapter 5 0 يا جونكور.
نعم.
نبقى واضحين جدا في الحتة دي. الرود ماب بيقول إنه these things are in the process but ما شفناه. لكن أنا داير نقول كلام مهم. ليه في تماطل؟ We need to ask a very important question. Why there is a delay in the establishment and formation of these bodies? Because if these bodies are formed, if this chapter 5 is honestly implemented, the president will go to court. The first vice president will go to court.
Correct.
The generals, some generals will go to court. Some ministers will go to court. And because the criminals are the one in power, they would not accept the formation of these three bodies, because these bodies are against them. These bodies are against the personality of the president. They are against the personality of the first vice president. They are against the personality of some ministers in the government. And so the two main political parties who are the signatories to this agreement, that is the SPLM under the president, under the leadership of the president, and the SPLM-IO under the leadership of the first vice president, are not in a position of seeing into it that the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing is formed. Because once this commission starts the investigation on the crimes, definitely they would be part of it. The hybrid court, once it starts prosecution, definitely they are going to be prosecuted. You see? So these structures or these institutions are against the personality of the president and against the personality of the first vice president. And therefore, you see them dragging their feet on the implementation of Chapter 5.
And أستاذ دنجي
نكون واضحين. المحكمة الحجينة لو عملوا ولا اللجنة بتاع الحقيقة والمصالح لو عملوا هيتحاكم رئيس الجمهورية، هيتحاكم النائب الأول، والحكام هم المتهمين. الحكام هم المتهمين. تفتكر هيكونوا أجسام ممكن يجي يحاكمون به؟ Logically they will not. ما ممكن. Go ahead.
نعم، انت قلت المفيد، وده السبب اللي هم بيتماطلوا في تكوين الباديس اللي احنا ذكرناه دي، محكمة عجين، Commission of Truth and Reconciliation عشان to compensate, to find the crimes and prosecute the crimes and all this. But you know what? Interestingly, they are contradicting themselves. لأنه هم ذاته they signed for this peace agreement, they said they are going to implement it. Okay. رئيس الفكير نحن هسه عندنا سبب واضح لما زول سأل بيقول ليه يا أخي why not establishing these bodies? Why there is no implementation of Chapter 5? Well, do you remember President Kiir has spoke many times, numerous times. لما Jeff Kunenge سأله publicly interview قالوا يا أخي why not forming, establishing the hybrid court? He clearly said the hybrid court is not a solution. It's not the answer. Of course, it is the answer. It will prosecute the crime and it will book the criminals. But because he's part of this, as you said, Ustaz Dengdi, هو من ضمنات المرتكبين جرائم، فهو بيقول لا، المحكمة هجين ما هو الحل. بالرغم هو مضى على الاتفاقية دي، هو مضى على الاتفاقية ده بكل ما فيها، والآن هو يرفض تكوين محكمة العجين. السؤال اللي بيطرح نفسه ده كله فترة ما قبل الانتقالية 8 شهور في 2018 سبتمبر 12 2018 لما وقعوا السلام ده في الخرطوم، ادهم 8 شهور عشان يجهز انفسهم. اوكي، وبعد 6 شهور تاني let's say now almost 5 years. Okay, if all this thing did not happen, just logic كده, South Sudanese, every South Sudanese can ask themselves, if they did not do it for the last 5 years, are they going to do it for the next 24 months? هم ورا التماطل already, لأن they supposed to establish in September and January, but nothing has been established. So deception will continue. Deception will continue to the people of South Sudan. من قبل السلطة الحاكمة, because they are not interested in stability in the country. So this is what I wanted to throw in. أنا رئيس الفكير نفسه هو رافض لتكوين المحكمة العجين، لأنه قال it's not a solution. It's not a solution because he's going to book him. He's going to take him in prison. They are going to persecute him for the crime that he committed. State and non-state and agents. He's the head of state, and there is non-state, and there are agents, militiat, generals, وهكذا. So they are not going to do it. they will not even do it for the next coming 24 months. Then did واصل. then did تسمعني؟
نعم أنا بسمعك أستاذ جونكور.
Yes تفضل.
فتقييمنا كلمتنا الأخيرة حول chapter 5. chapter 5 يا جماعة ده chapter يعني بيخدم قضية بتاعت العدالة للمواطنين وللضحايا بتاعت الحرب في ساوث السودان. يعني بالنسبة للمواطن ده كويس، بالنسبة للحكام ما كويس، لأنه هيبدينوا وبالتالي هم بيراوغوا بيمشي يمين بيمشي شمال. عشان كده chapter 5 ما نفذ، ما فيش محكمة حجيم، ما فيش لجنة أو مفوضية الحقيقة أو المصالحة والتعافي، ما فيش سلطة التعويضات والعودة به، ما في. ده السبب. أفتكر إن هنا we will move to chapter 6.
واعتقد yes we are moving. واعتقد استاذ وندي مريال ذكر نقطه مهمه جدا هنا. هو بيقول اعتقد بسبب تباطؤ وتنفيذ محكمه الحاجين في حكومه السودان الجنوبي، الايجاد الاتحاد الافريقي وكل المنظمات المعنيه دفعت الى تسجيل ودفع مرتكبي جرائم الحرب في دوله السودان الجنوبي للمحكمه الجنائيات الدوليه اللي احنا بنسمع به في اوقات الماضي بانه في قضيه اصلا فتحت لمرتكبي جرائم. شكرا.
ده الكلام ده قبل اسبوعين.
نعم
قبل اسبوعين في حاجه ده حصل. ف يعني في ناس منه هيمشي international code of international code of international criminal court
justice. yes
شفت كيف؟ عشان to answer all the crimes that have been committed يعني against the citizens. فالشابتر ده منصف للناس اللي ماتوا في 2013 بيكون منصف بالنسبه لهم، وللناس اللي ماتوا في فيما بعد يعني بعد 2013
نعم
ده بيكون منصف بالنسبه لهم. لكن انا شايفين تماطل في شابتر 5 ده وما هينفذوه لحد الحكومه دي او لحد التمديد بتاع سنتين ده هينتهي برضه في جرجره ده. ممكن نقرا برضو البيان بتاع مارتينيليا لومورو كويس؟
نعم
مارتينيليا لومورو ما عمل بيان قريب ده اتكلم فوقه عن status of the implementation of the agreement. كويس؟ البيان بتاعه ده موجود عندنا، يعني قال فوقه حاجات يعني كثير جدا. كويس؟ أنا ما هقرأ منه لأنه ما عندي وقت وفي متحدثين تاني، لكن البيان عندي يعني اطلعت عليه، والكلام اللي جاء في البيان وده وعود إنه في حاجات كده ما ينفذ وفي حاجات كده ما ينفذ ونحن هنلتزم بتنفيذها. فهو ما بيختلف كثير مع خارطة بتاع التاريخ. أفتكر we'll go to chapter 6.
yes
chapter 6 هنعرضها في شكل ملخص سريع كده، وإن دعت الضرورة ممكن نقرأ حاجتين ثلاثة ببال ما نحن نختم. chapter 6 ده بيتكلم عن حاجة اسمه parameters of permanent constitution اللي هي معالم الدستور الدائم. الأطراف اتفقت على إنها تكون في دستور دائم في البلد. The parties to the agreement have agreed that there shall be what they call permanent constitution process in the country, and therefore I would like to read very quickly Article 6.1, which says the revitalized transitional government of national unity shall initiate and oversee a permanent constitution making process during the transitional period. That's what they agreed. And then the permanent constitution making process shall be based on the principle of supremacy of the people of South Sudan. And then it shall initiate a federal and democratic system of government that reflects the character of South Sudan in its various institutions taken together, guarantees good governance, constitutionalism, rule of law, human rights, gender equality, and affirmative action. So these are what? These are the principles for permanent
constitution.
Constitution, right? These are some of the things that shall be done for making this permanent constitution a reality. What I can say, the parliament has passed the bill for the permanent constitution making, right? And they have started somehow to implement this one. And because of this, I want now to read something from the roadmap. Chapter 6, status of implementation, Annex 8, item 1.2.1. This is what they wrote here about this. They said the significance of this chapter is that the election law that will guide elections at the end of the 36-month transitional period is to be reviewed based on the permanent constitution of the Republic of South Sudan. That's one. Two, the legislation to govern the permanent constitution making process was ratified by the Revitalized Transitional National Legislative Assembly in July 2022. Three, there are 17 activities roadmap, Annex 6, item 2 to 21, item 5 to 17 that must be accomplished. So, Junker, there is nothing implemented regarding what we call permanent constitution making. There is nothing that has been implemented on this except what they mentioned here in the roadmap that the Revitalized Transitional National Legislative Assembly has ratified in July 2022 what is called permanent constitution making process. This bill was ratified and it was one of the bills which was signed by the president by the end of the year. And so when you look into this, there is nothing that is done. And so the implementation of this one is like 5% or 1 or 2%.
Yep.
Okay. Based on what is written here and based on our follow-up by the parties, you see. Now, there is something they said here in the roadmap, something which I would really like to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
They said the Revitalized Agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan does not provide critical timelines, neither for the permanent constitution making process nor the elections. You know, there is something fishy about this. Because they said the agreement, these arses are our arses. And the permanent constitution making process, they does not provide critical timelines for permanent constitution making or the elections. إنه الاتفاقية بتاعت سلام المنشطة دي ما بتهدد جداول زمنية لشنو؟ لعملية صنع الدستور الدائم دي أو الانتخابات. معناه العملية بتاعت صناعة الدستور الدائم ده ممكن يطرحوه، ممكن يجاوب كوشة. الانتخابات برضه ممكن يجاوب كوشة. ليه؟ لأن الاتفاقية قال ما بيوفر جداول زمنية بتاعت إنه الحاجات دي تتم تاني. ده حاجة مكتوب هنا في رود ماب.
So these two things can be thrown away at any time.
But constitution is
The
supposed to
permanent-
be by the end
The
of
permanent
the
constitutions process can be thrown away at any time. And also the election can be thrown away at any time. Because the parties to the agreement are saying that there are no critical timeline provided for these two things. Whether by the permanent constitution making process or by the agreement itself. So this one is a very dangerous statement that is in the roadmap. كويس؟ فده عملية خطيرة جدا. يبقى تقييمنا لحد هنا إنه يا جماعة العدالة الانتقالية والمصالحة الوطنية والحكاية بتاع التعويضات ما تم. آخر حاجة داير نقول يا جماعة عن transitional justice. العدالة الانتقالية مهمة جدا. سموها العدالة الانتقالية لأنه بينقل المجتمع من حالة بتاعت حرب، من حالة بتاعت انتهاكات، من حالة بتاعت مرارات، كويس؟ إلى حالة بتاعت الوئام وحالة بتاعت سلم وحالة بتاعت صفاء. قلوب الناس تبقى صافية. ده بيتم كيف؟ لازم يتم إنه يعملوا محكمة عشان الزول القتل زول يودوا المحكمة يحاكموه. الناس اللي هربوا ممتلكات بتاعهم أو قتلوا أهلهم يدفعوا لهم الديات reparations. لأنه الزول القتل زول هربوا لما نشوف الناس اللي قتلوا أهلهم ودوهم المحكمة وحاكموهم كده قلبه شنو؟ بيبرد والضغين اللي كان في قلبه بيجيف. العدالة ممكن شنو؟ يطهر قلوب الناس في المجتمع ويوحد الناس من جديد. لكن في ناس أهلهم قتلوهم، في الناس أهلهم اغتصبوهم، كويس؟ والناس اللي عملوا الأفعال ضد أهلهم هم عارفينهم وشايفينهم ولافين في شوارع ولسه شايلين سلاح بتاع الدولة وما قدموهم للمحاكم. كده قلوبهم ما هتبرد. المرارات اللي في قلوب الناس ما هتمشي. الضغائن اللي في قلوب الناس ما هتمشي. الكراهية اللي في قلوب الناس ما هتمشي. لكن إذا الدولة بقت جادة وعملت محاكم وقدمت كل المجرمين عشان يحاكموه، كده ممكن المجتمع تنتقل من الحالة بتاعت الغضب، من حالة بتاعت الانتهاكات، من حالة بتاعت الضغائن، من الحالة بتاعت مرارات إلى حالة بتاعت شنو؟ بتاعت سلم. بينقل المجتمع من حالة بتاعت الحرب إلى حالة بتاعت شنو؟ سلم. ده هيعمل إعادة العلاقات الاجتماعية من جديد. عشان كده بيسموه العدالة شنو؟ الانتقالية. دي عدالة لابد تتم عشان يتم نقل المجتمع من الحالة بتاعت الحرب دي كويس إلى حالة بتاعت سلام ووئام وصفاء وحالة بتاعت شنو؟ إنه الناس تتعاقلم مع بعض من جديد. دي الأهمية بتاعت العدالة الانتقالية هنا. So the importance of transitional justice is that it would make the society to transit from a society that is a war-torn society, from a society that is full of hatred, a society that is full of grudges, a society that has been brought down by war. When we take those who perpetrated the crime, those who have committed the crimes into the court of justice, and then they are prosecuted in the court, then justice would be safe for the victims.
Correct.
And for the relatives of the victims. Reparations have to be paid. Those who have been killed have to be compensated. And the compensation has to be delivered to their relatives who are still there. And this is the importance of what? Of the transitional justice. There must be accountability against those who have committed crimes during the time of war. If we brought those who have committed crimes against our people during the time of war, we take them to the court
to be prosecuted. Those whose relatives had been killed in the war would now begin to reconcile with the rest of the communities or with the rest of the people. And this way, we will bring harmony, we will bring peace among our people in the Republic of South Sudan. So, transitional justice is very important because it will make South Sudan to transit from a society of war to a society of peace. So justice must be set. But we have learned today that justice would not be said in South Sudan because this justice is targeting the head of the state and those who are around him. It is targeting the first vice president and those who are around him because both have committed crime in the Republic of South Sudan. And therefore, the implementation of Chapter 5 is very important, but sadly, it is not going to be implemented because those who are targeted by this chapter are the one leading the country. And therefore, we will not see any implementation soon. But there are other ways. If the international
Court of Justice.
Court of Justice can interfere, then justice can be said. And this would be another way to administer justice for the people of South Sudan. Otherwise, the people of South Sudan would remain victims until these SPLM leaders die or leave power. We have to be very clear about this. So the implementation of Chapter 5 is crucial. It's crucial because it sets justice for the implementation. It sets justice for the people of South Sudan. يعني Chapter 5 ده يا أستاذ جونكور
ده الاتفاقية ذاته، ده الاتفاقية
زي الطقوس بتاع المسيحية. زمان في المسيحية يعني عشان الخطايا بتاع الناس يغفروا لازم يجيبوا ذبايح، لازم يجيبوا حيوانات يذبح والدم بتاعه يكب كتير، بعد كده الخطايا بتاع الناس يغفروا. عشان صار السودان ده يكون بلد نظيف كويس، المجرمين دول يودوهم محاكم يحكمون عشان الخطايا اللي ارتكبوها الفترة اللي فاتت دي تتنظف. والمجرمين دول قاعدين في جيوان، المجرمين دول قاعدين في مؤسسات ثانية في البلد، مؤسسات معلومة يعني. فالعدالة الانتقالية مهمة كويس عشان ننقل المجتمع بتاع ساوث السودان من مجتمع بتاع مرارات وضغائن وحرب لمجتمع مسالم مع نفسه. دي بيجيب المصالح الحقيقية للموضوع بتاع المحاكم ده. لكن في ظل الحكام بتاع الحركة الشعبية دي البرنامج ده ما هيتم لأنه هم حجر عثرة أمام تنفيذ هذا البرنامج.
نعم.
فلو بقى في يعني مبادرة من أطراف دولية إنه يكون في قضايا تتفتح في المحكمة الدولية ده كويس، لأنه المحاكم بتاعت اتفاقية السلام دي ما هتتم خالص كويس، لأنه الزول المجرم القاعد في الحكومة ما بقدر بيعمل محكمة لنفسه نهائي. فالكلام المكتوب في الاتفاقية دي ده كلام كتبه ساكت. أنا شايف يوم ذاك المفوضية بتاع الأمم المتحدة في البلد ده كان بيعمل بوش لقضية بتاع بيسموه sexual violence. عندهم المرأة المسؤولة عن الحاجة دي أو السكرتيرة المسؤولة عن الحاجة دي في المفوضية مشى جوا لجيوان قابل الرئيس وناقش معه الموضوع. الزول اللي اسمه نيكولاس هايسن برضه ناقش مع رئيس القضية اللي هو رئيس البعثة بتاع الأمم المتحدة، ناقش مع رئيس القضية دي كويس، والقضايا دي ما هتتم. عشان كده لو المجتمع الدولي مثلا يتدخل عشان يحكموا الناس دي
ده هيكون يعني عداله، هيكون عداله لهناك. وفي دول تم فوق محاكمه يعني كويس. رواندا دي قادت عمليه بتاعت مصالحه والتعافي عن طريق انه تم تقديم الناس المجرمين للمحاكم كويس. ولما الجماعه بتاع الناس قتلوهم سنه 94 وخدتهم في المتحف يعني عشان اي جيل يجي يشوف الجماعه دي.
نعم
كويس. انا ما اعرف لو صوت السودانيين هيلموا الجماعه بتاع الناس دي.
والله المخجل يا استاذ دنجديد،
صوت السودانيين هيقدموا الجماعه دي للمحاكم.
المخجل ساوث سودانيز ايفن.
القضيه دي ما هينفذوا الجماعه دي، ولو في جهات دوليه تطارد الحكايه دي تكون ذاته كويس عشان ينقذون ذاته، والجماعه دي اللي يمشوا لمزبله التاريخ ذاته يكونوا زي تشارلز تايلر، يكونوا زي رادوفان كراديتش، يكونوا زي
سولوفان
بودان ميلوسيفيك بتاع كوسوفو.
يس
والله يكونوا نفس المصير. انا هجيب فيني جونكور وشكرا.
شكرا استاذ دنجديد، انت تغطيت كل محور النقاش اليوم which is chapter 5 and chapter 6. chapter 5 طبعا ده اللي عنده لب الموضوع which is يكون في عداله و hybrid courts of South Sudan and commissioner for truth and reconciliation. دي مواضيع مهمه جدا جدا. الغريبه حاجه طبعا اللي بخليني انا دائما اكون مستاء من الجيل الناشئ. انا بلقى افراد يقولوا لك يا اخي عشان تحصل عمليات بتاعه التعايش السلمي في بلدنا ما يكون في محكمه، ما يكون في كده يعني، وكانه نحن بنسرح يعني بندي تصريح انه جريمه يرتكب، والمرتكب الجريمه يعني يتم اعفاء عنه. يعني دي حاجه غريبه جدا جدا. انت لو بتسمع للناس يرتكبوا بجرائم وتقول له يا عشان نعيش في السلم ما نحكم ناس، طيب ده نوع من السلم اللي انت بتتكلم عنه ده. مع السلم انه المظلوم يلقى حقه، ده الجاستس، يكون في عداله، ده العداله هنا. لكن انت لما تقول يا اخي كود هايبريد كود از نوت ا سولوشن، في هنا جريمه مرتكب، انت ارتكبت جريمه، في ناس ارتكبوا جرائم and you were so complicit about them. So how are we going to get out of this mess? We will not get out of this mess until ذو الحق ياخذ حقه. وده كلام صح، ده كلام واضح. يعني في persecution against whether there was genocide or not, محكمة establishment to persecute these cases, war crime, humanity, you know, sexual based violence. حاجات دي كله عشان احنا نقدر يكون في ريال تعايش سلمي. لما نمشي للنقطة دي المظلوم زي ما انت قلت يا استاذ دنجل هياخد حقه، وهيعرف انه في عدالة في البلد، وهيعرف ان احنا كلنا اخوان، ما بزول ثاني you know بيظلم اخر. لكن لما احنا نقول يا اخي لا 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 نحن ما نعمل كده، ولو عملنا كده هيكون في مشاكل و we have to do reconciliation. وين reconciliation ذات؟ حتى لو انتم ما دايرين محكمة ليه ما عملتوا هنا commission for truth and reconciliation at least to compensate الناس اللي affected the victims. لهنا السلام وضع كلام ده الاجريمنت قال يا اخي الناس ديل المتضررين لابد من تعويضهم، ناس تعوض، لازم يكون في تعويض. الناس اللي اتضررت ما سمحتوا انه يكون في تكوين لده كله ليه؟ طيب هيجي سلام كيف؟ how are we going to reconcile؟ لو انا ما اخذت حقي وهو ما اخذ حقه وهي ما اخذ حقها هيكون في reconciliation كيف؟ ما كل زول قلبه هيكون حار. So there is no implementation because this is the path that this government on. They don't want to see light at the end of the tunnel. لأنه هم يرتكبوا جرائم وهم بيشوفوا كده بس هيمشوهم وينتهي الانتهى. لكن it's not going to happen that way. You know. I hope المحكمة اللي تفتح ده تستمر، والناس دي لازم they have to be brought to the justice عشان الجيل الجاي يقدر يعرف. لأن الليلة ده لو واحد ارتكب جريمة ومستمرين في ارتكاب الجرائم وما في عدالة، إذن آخرون بيقول it is okay to steal, it is okay to kill, it is okay تغتصب, it is okay to do all these things. وإلا يكون في شنو؟ يكون في عقاب لمرتكبين الجرائم. Ustaz, thank you. I don't know if you want to say anything else before we transition from here to Clubhouse. I know we are going to spend.
You can transition
1 hour.
وبعد كده ندي أستاذ منون فرصة عشان يعلق لأنه نحن كلمنا كثير واستمع علينا زمن طويل. It should be his turn now to speak. ديفيد بيل مفترض يكون معنا هنا، أنا ما أعرف معلوم، أنا كلمته من قبل من بدري خالص.
نعم.
مفترض يكون معنا هنا لأن هم أطراف، هو بيمثل آيو، أستاذ منون بيمثل SPLM. مفترض يناقش. أنت ممكن تقفل اللايف بتاعك هناك لكن النقاش يواصل هنا.
نعم، نحن نمشي من هنا، نقفل هنا، نخليكم وانا بختم هنا باغنيه، وانا I will mute myself from the clubhouse وانا بلحقكم، وكلاب نستمر يا جماعه 1 hour فقط. اوكي 1 hour. ثانك يو.
استاذ منون مرحب بك يعني في انا كنت رفعت معك الفوق.
I want to conclude here now.